Hey everybody, Friday morning, July 12th. This is the Cosmo chart from late afternoon yesterday and overnight. I've marked some of the key points on the chart. The crossovers, the expansion, the peak of the expansion and then the crossover or the minimum of the expansion are important points. This would be a minimum right here. The only time it gets a little tricky is where we get this area of the flat where it doesn't seem like it's doing much, but if you look you can still see that the crossovers and the expansions are still at the key points of pivot areas. So when we get the crossover or the expansion maximum, we get pretty good pivots. You can see this cross was this low. Market ran up to the next point, which was the high here. The crossover here was this high here. And then this crossover was the low, and that moved up with the green line. So the next pivot point, that was a minor low, so the trend continued up. And you can see that we've got a pivot just about everywhere we had one of these significant points. One thing to note here, right here where this goes flat, the market also consolidated for a good bit of that period while that was moving sideways. And then it did move to the upside, but then when we hit the minimum, it flipped the market back down. So you can also follow these lines for trend. So what you want to do is, say for instance at this cross point here the market moved up. When we get to this next point, you're looking for reversal. In this particular case, it reversed and went back down. That particular low came in a couple bars before the next cross. So the market had been following the green line to this crossover. Then when this crossover came, it followed the blue line and went up. And then it turned down to the next point. This cross was a low. It followed the green line up. Since it was in a corrective mode coming down, when it hit the turn here, it turned back up. And at that point there, it followed the blue line to the next point, which was a high. So that's how you follow that line for direction. So if we've got these bigger expansions where it's following the market, you can see it went green, green here, and then here it switched to the blue line at this cross. And then here it followed green line, here it switched to the blue line where we are expecting a potential pivot. The market was already trading down to that point, so it kicked back up. So that switched to the blue line, then it was following the blue line through here all the way down to here, and then still on the blue line all the way up. So you can use that to follow the directional bias like that. So you can get your turn times and direction off of this. So it's easy enough to plot these points out and get these potential pivots, and you can use those in tandem with the rainbow and the pH indicator.